Good morning. I want to first begin by acknowledging, not only have I dropped a bunch of wires, but we're in the midst of a global pandemic. I'm here preaching to a church that's 3/4 empty. I'm very thankful down here in Nova Scotia that we have done so well in the midst of COVID-19. I know there are many parts of the world, many parts of the country that are not faring so well. And there's a heaviness in my spirit. I received some news last night from a dear friend of mine whose sister with the Congregation de Notre Dame, CNDs in Montreal, they have a facility there that has 126 sisters in it. 70 of them have COVID, 12 have died. And so there's a profundity, there's a profundity in the midst of everything we're dealing with. There's a depth of human understanding that we're confronting here in the midst of all that we're dealing with. And I know we've had a couple of difficult deaths in our parish lately. So it's a joy for me to be here to proclaim the light of the world, having just read his gospel, and now to speak about the light of the world. It's a great joy for me. And as I prepared this homily, the verse that in particular stood out to me was this here: when they saw that the star was stopped, they were overwhelmed with joy. When they saw that the star was stopped, they were overwhelmed with joy. For those of you who know me, you know that the metaphor of pilgrimage is an important part of my journey. In fact, I'm wearing a chasuble today that has the cross of St. James, the patron saint of pilgrims on it. This was given to me, by the way, by folks I met along the Camino de Santiago who lived, the Paget family, Kelly and Chris Paget, just outside of Sydney, Australia. So pilgrimage is important for my spirituality. And every August in this archdiocese, we actually have a pilgrimage called the Way of Stella Maris. It's a 110-kilometer route from Middle Musquodoboit down to the cathedral in Halifax. So if you're interested in setting some time aside, the 9th to the 15th of August, for a walking pilgrimage from Middle Musquodoboit, Holy Cross Middle Musquodoboit, to the cathedral in Halifax, it's a wonderful time to set time aside to intentionally pray for the local church and for one another with about 60 or 70 other pilgrims. It's called the Way of Stella Maris, as I mentioned. We've got a website, thewayofstellamaris.com. Pilgrimage invites us to consciously set time aside to pray and to reflect on life and all of its mysteries, to deepen in our reliance on God, and to encounter Christ anew. And today, we're celebrating a pilgrimage of sorts on this feast, this solemnity of the Epiphany, the pilgrimage of the wise men from the East, and how their Epiphany, in the presence of Jesus, fundamentally changed their journey. They took a different route back home. So there are three themes that the scriptures that we read this morning forced me to confront, which I'm happy to do so. Three themes. You ready for them? I think they'll be pretty easy to remember. The first is revelation. The second is revelation. And the third is revelation. Three themes. Revelation, revelation, revelation. So the first theme, revelation. God has revealed to us that God is with us. And God has been made known to the whole world. The eternal entered time. This, of course, is the great mystery of the incarnation, which we celebrate throughout this Christmas season. We deepen in our understanding of this great mystery. God entered into human form. God chose to be born in a manger, not in a palace. God chose to pitch his tent among us and to live in the midst of the messiness of the world. And God calls us closer. God draws us nearer into himself, into the divine life. Through all of this, God has revealed the sacred in the midst of the ordinary, and beauty in the midst of the messiness. The messiness cannot contain the love of God. Grief cannot contain the love of God. Sin cannot contain the love of God. Fear cannot contain the love of God. Death cannot contain the love of God. God revealed that God is with us. When they saw that the star was stopped, they were overwhelmed with joy. My second theme, revelation. I think in my conversations with younger adults, and when we talk about their goals in life, I enjoy listening to these goals. And I know some people in there, especially the 30-something crowd, are looking to, I want to retire at 35, I want to be financially secure at 35, and I'm going to live happily ever after. Or I want to become a CEO of a great company. That's my goal. Or I want to be drafted, young guys who are hockey players, I want to be drafted into the NHL. That is my goal. Or I want to have children and to raise a family. Now, these are all fine goals. They all take discipline and dedication and hard work to achieve. This is good. If your goal is indeed to retire at 55 and you want to live happily ever after, I hope you achieve it. I hope you are financially secure, and I hope you live a long, healthy life. But I can guarantee you one thing. At 55, when you're financially secure, your soul is going to long for more. And my question to you is, what is that more? If you want to get drafted into the NHL, I hope you do so. I hope you achieve that aspiration, and I hope you hoist a Stanley Cup over your head and celebrate that achievement. I'll celebrate that achievement with you. I can guarantee you your soul is going to long for more when the shine of that moment wears thin. And here in our own parish family, we've had the untimely death of a few people recently. Several of our adult children have died. Grief can be quite immobilizing. The horizon of your pilgrimage can seem pretty close. I remember talking to my dear grandmother once after the death of one of her sons, and I asked her how she was getting through the day. And she said, Robbie, she's the only one, by the way, that calls me Robbie. Sometimes, Robbie, it's not about getting through the day. Sometimes it's about making it to lunchtime. So our horizon on this pilgrimage through life can seem pretty close sometimes, but God is in the midst of all of this. God is in the midst of it. God revealed that He is in the midst of it all. When they saw that the star was stopped, they were overwhelmed with joy. My third theme, revelation. Did I mention I have three themes? Revelation. Third theme, revelation. That which God revealed to them gave them great joy. We need things to be revealed to us. We need our blind spots to be revealed to us, as well as our deep consolations. We need the star. We need divine revelation to keep us focused on that which is of ultimate importance, to satiate our deepest longings as humans, to give us deep joy, this deep well of peace. And what did this star reveal? Well, I would say this star revealed that we can wander great distances along our pilgrimage before we realize that our journey of seeking God was actually God seeking us. God seeks us. God seeks you. When they saw that the star was stopped, they were overwhelmed with joy. Revelation of this divine truth invites in us, as it did the Magi, a response. What was their response when they were overwhelmed with joy, when the star had stopped? They knelt down and paid homage to Jesus. And then they offered Jesus their gifts. Now, my question to you is, what are your spiritual gifts? What have you been seeking that Jesus wants to reveal in you? Because each one of us has spiritual gifts, every single one of us. And I can guarantee you that if you discern and know what your spiritual gifts are, to share them will give you great joy. Father James spoke about spiritual gifts, and this is far more than just one homily. This could be a whole series on discerning your spiritual gifts. I've asked Brad on our main website to hang a talk that Father James gave during the New Foundation series on November the 27th. It's on our main website. If you go there, it's called, the title of the talk is called Identifying Our Resources, Human and Spiritual. Go back there, have a listen to that, and ask yourself and pray about, what are my spiritual gifts? Because to unlock these gifts in yourself is going to give you great joy. And if we want our parish to flourish, just set our spiritual gifts on fire. It will bring you great joy. We don't seek. God seeks us. Our seeking is actually our response to God seeking us. Now, it's easy in our world, in our culture, it's easy to turn God into a distant star and to see God as some abstract idea up in the cosmos. But a star is not personal. This star that the Magi followed, this Epiphany, stopped at a person, and it gave them great joy. God is not a distant star, but a person who speaks into our lives, has given us gifts, and he invites a response from us. God is the seeker. We respond. Come, let us pay him homage. Amen.